You're listening to Green Ovation with Diane Naidu, the show where global warming is always a hot topic and green entrepreneurs are even hotter, where we chat to ordinary citizens who are innovating extraordinary climate solutions.
Good morning, listeners, and you're back with me, Diane, as you've heard the whole promo. On our show, we love chatting all things climate change, innovation, entrepreneurship. And for this morning, I have a surprise co-host. Roger Dickinson is the CEO of a company or an organization called A Better Africa. We'll be talking about lots of things, including the African Spelling Bee, which is happening later on in December. But for now, I think, Roger, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dan.
So we normally start the show by talking about what's hot and what's happening out there. So as you know, the 16 Days of Activism campaign has kicked off. I must say I don't really buy into the whole campaign because I believe it should be 365 days of the year. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with you. I think, I have a problem with 16 Days of Activism because I think then everyone kind of focuses on abuse and stuff like that and the media goes crazy. And the other, whatever days, 350 days, it's kind of gone quiet. So it's kind of I think it's lost its edge for me anyway. Yeah.
Well, we have to support and say that we don't agree and we stand against abuse of women and children in South Africa. We have to say that we support every initiative that seeks to reduce the crime rate in South Africa, especially when it comes to the vulnerable, to the kids and the children that are generally at the receiving end of what has become like really brutal violence in the country. But I think for now we are going to be moving on swiftly. We're starting our first guest that we are chatting to is Gilbert Hickman from the Cradle of Humankind World Heritage Site. Hi, Gilbert. You're chatting to Diane. We are live doing our interview with you this morning.
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm great.
Okay.
Great. So, Gilbert, we're going to start off by asking you to introduce yourself. What is your name? What is your title? And what does your organization do?
Okay, so the name is Gilbert Hickman. I'm proudly a hotelier and a tourism ambassador in the Cradle. And I head up the Cradle Tourism Company on the board. I sit on the board as chairperson. So very actively involved in promoting tourism in our region. And currently I'm a director at Riverstone Lodge, which is also located in Muldersdrift.
So you said the Cradle Tourism Company. What does a company like that do besides promoting tourism and getting visitors in? What is it? What purpose does it serve in terms of the Cradle of Humankind?
Okay, well, it's just recently formed, and the role is basically to bring stakeholders together to promote the Cradle area, but not only the Cradle, also the buffer and surrounding areas as a tourism hub in Gauteng and obviously not only Gauteng but in South Africa. So that's primarily what we're striving to do.
Great. So, I mean, we often ask people who are in different spaces and different sectors, what kind of person does it take to forge a career in tourism? Besides the hard skills, what are the soft skills required to become an entrepreneur? You said you are a hotelier and you are a director at Riverstone Lodge. What does it take to make it in this industry?
Look, I think, what is critical, you need to be excited about life, so, you've got to have a passion for people. I think, you need the ability as well just to be able to deal with challenges. No day is really the same. So each day, when you're dealing with the public and, labor and staff and so on, there's always going to be challenges. And so I think, you need the ability to be able to deal with, challenges. And, service excellence is also called for. There's so much competition out there. And so for a young person to come to the industry, they need to have a good sense of business. How do we grow the business? And so our business in hospitality is really, about people. Everybody has a bed, they have a conference room, they have a restaurant table. So, we're all in the same market, but ultimately the difference is, when that client or that guest, comes into your establishment, it's the engagement and interaction that he has with the individual that's going to make him decide whether he'll come back again or not. So, you really need to be very passionate about people. I would say primarily, that's probably the key thing.
So you mentioned earlier that you are an ambassador. Is that a formal position? Did you have to go for training? How did they select you?
That's so interesting. So a lot of my team have been, and so they are Cradle ambassadors, and they get recognition for that. They go and do a 3-day course, and it's a full-on course that's actually run here. And it's really, to teach them, not only from a tourism point of view, but there's life skills in that course. They teach them basically, when the area was first developed as a national site over here. They even go into a lot of detail, about the fossils and so on. So by the time that you finish the course, you're very passionate and you're able to actually tell people a little bit more about the area. I call myself an ambassador of tourism in the region because I believe that's what it's about. It's not the Cradle and the surrounds is not doesn't belong to any particular person. So when we adopt the we philosophy and you start embracing, that this is ours, suddenly it brings a whole different perspective. And there's just so many opportunities, for everybody. And so I believe that we all need to be ambassadors.
So Gilbert, you said it was a 3-day course. Who traditionally goes to those courses? Do you have to be employed at an establishment inside the Cradle of Humankind?
No, funny enough, many of the people that attended, in fact, have, been sponsored, so there was no cost involved. They do run it at a minimalistic cost. It was opened up to various establishments and stakeholders basically over the past 18 months. And I'm not 100% sure if you need to be employed. I guess that's not a criteria, but obviously they want people that are involved in the Cradle area, to be in the know and, to be in a better position that they can be passionate, about promoting the area.
So for you, what is it that makes the Cradle of Humankind a really special place? I mean, we know about the stones, we know about the bones, but beyond that, what is special about it for you?
Well, as you say, it's remarkable because obviously all the findings here. I think the relationship that we have as stakeholders here over a period of many years, we actually on first name terms, and we work very well together. Maybe around the issues of security, or tourism, or marketing. I think, the Cradle is very unique because it's very accessible, and available to all walks of life. I think that, is a big key thing about the Cradle area. And then, I think, the caves, the Sturkfontein caves also just, a compliment. It has been there forever. Everybody knows about it. And I just think that the attractions that are out here, it's just absolutely amazing what is out there to offer. And most people don't know that, Over the weekends, you can have literally thousands of cyclists coming through here, and they all cycle around a loop. But they have no idea, as you peel off these loops and you go down various entrances and gateways, what there is to offer. I've been in the area for over 12 years now. I'm still discovering some real gems. So I think that's what's really unique about the Cradle.
Well, I can testify and say yes, there are many experiences for people to have inside the Cradle. I mean, people don't know that you can zip line. There's bungee jumping opportunities. I believe caving is quite a popular sport. I don't know that really should be a sport. I'm a bit claustrophobic. But there's lots to do inside the Cradle. But for myself, I love being in Johannesburg during the festive season. I can't deal with the coastal visits, and it's crazy. It's pandemonium. What is your favorite destination and why?
Diane, I must tell you, for many years now, I have not actually gone down to the coast and away over this December festival.
Well done.
Simply because it's much quieter, so you can get around with all the without all the hassle and bustle of the traffic. The weather generally is great. It really is beautiful, sunrises and sunsets. I'm an avid fisherman, so I love getting around and doing a bit of a picnic. I go out to the botanical gardens here, absolutely love it. And so I just think that there's so many little packages, places to eat out. Silver Star Casino over a number of years now have been developing, and last year they actually created a beach out there for the kids and evening activities. The Lion Safari Park, right here internationally, beautiful. And you've got places like Bell Gables, the Carnival Restaurant, and you could just carry on all the time. We at Riverstone Lodge, for instance, are doing a 3-day special at the moment where we give you entrance into the botanical gardens. You can win and get meal vouchers, central bowling vouchers for the casino. We give you access into Maripeng at discounted rates. So we really promote, for the local people coming from the East Rand, the West Rand, wherever, to come and stay in the cradle, and enjoy being pampered, and just giving them access into the gateway of the cradle. So no place like the cradle over December, that's for sure.
Well, I attended the SA Tourism Speed Marketing event, which was hosted at Maripeng just a few months back. And I see that there's really
Correct.
an appetite for tour operators that are not only locally based, but outside of the province, who are keen to bring tour groups out to the different experiences inside the cradle. I must tell you, I interviewed an interesting young woman, young entrepreneur. She and her partner have started this business, and it's called Traveling Cheapskate. And I thought it was quite a novel idea at a time when people are tightening their purse strings. I thought it would be quite interesting to see what sort of packages she could put together for the Cradle of Humankind to have an explosive holiday on a shoestring budget.
Well, it's an interesting point that you raised there, because there are a number of local tour operators that are developing various packages and quite affordable. And so everybody knows about doing the Soweto tour, but there's also a Munziville tour that's available. There's a wonderful place if you want a real proper Shizenyama in Kagiso. So some of these tours actually link you up, take you through the cradle, whatever experience you'd like, and you can actually land up having a traditional, complete ethnic Shizenyama meal, and it's just exciting, and it's very, very affordable. That's why I mentioned to you earlier that the one thing that's beautiful about our region, that it's available to all walks of life, and it certainly is affordable. It's not over the top at all. So I wish this young lady all the very best, and if we can help in any way, with regards to developing her, because that's what we're extremely passionate about. We love to take young entrepreneurs under our wings and to coach them and to develop them and see their businesses grow. That's really what it's all about.
Well, that's awesome. I'm going to do my best to connect the two of you. I think there's a lot of opportunity inside the cradle, as you say, for packages and traveling affordably, and also for families. So there's obviously lots happening around December, Jan. Where can people find out what's happening inside the cradle over this festive season?
Diane, the cradle does have a website, so that's www.cradleofhumankind, one word, .co.za. And then the Cradle Tourism Company, you can just Google the Cradle Tourism Company. On there, you'll be able to see a lot of what is actually happening in the area, over this period of time. So I would recommend them to go onto one of those two websites.
Awesome. So the website is www.cradleofhumankind.co.za. Otherwise, Google search the Cradle Tourism Company if you'd like to find out what's happening. So Gilbert, thank you so much for all the information. It's been great chatting to you. But before you go, we'd like to do a 20-second dash. We're hoping that we get through it in 20 seconds. Just pop in quick questions, and whatever the first answer is, we'll accept. We do these 20 seconds so that we can find out a bit more about who you really are. So we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Jeans and T-shirts or black tie?
Jeans and T-shirt.
Boxing or wrestling?
Boxing.
Razzmatazz 5-star or Roughing It?
Razzmatazz 5-star.
Never would have guessed. KFC or Chicken Licken?
KFC.
Cappuccino or rooibos?
Well, that's a difficult one. I love them both. Cappuccino.
You could have said both. Zipline or bungee?
No, if anything, bungee, but no, not keen.
Okay, rock music or heavy metal?
Yeah, a little bit of Queen, always goes down well.
Jeep or Jaguar?
Jeep, I guess.
Tom Jones or James Brown?
Oh, James Brown.
Marupeng or Sterkfontein?
Marupeng or Sterkfontein, you say?
Yes.
Sterkfontein.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Gilbert. That was lots of fun. We at least now know that
Lovely.
when you pop around, we need to serve you a cappuccino followed by a rooibos tea. We look forward to chatting to you sometime soon.
brandlive.co.za.
Are you an innovator and solution provider? The Innovation Hub is looking for entrepreneurs in the ICT, advanced manufacturing, bioeconomy, and the green economy sectors.
If you have an innovative prototype or startup business which addresses an existing market need and you're predominantly based in Gauteng, we invite you to apply for one of our incubation programs. For more information, visit theinnovationhub.com or call 012-844-0000. The Innovation Hub is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
And you're back with me, Diane. And as I mentioned earlier, we have Roger Dickinson in studio with us this morning. He's the CEO of an organization called A Better Africa. So let's get straight into it. Roger, what is this organization? What is it all about?
So Better Africa is hi, Dan. So
Hi again.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. So Better Africa is education. It's a social enterprise that focuses on education across the continent. And basically the idea is that we can bring all the players in education together and really fix education across the continent. That's the big goal.
And how long have you been going for?
So we've been going for 3 years now. Yeah.
3 years. And how big is the organization in terms of staff and people who plug in, partners? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting. So we are in startup phase still. So as you know, enterprises, it's the first 2-3 years are quite tough. So we're about 6-7 people currently trying to get this off the ground. We've got, I would say, 10 or 20 partners that plug into us, and we're connected to 16 countries right now. So
That's incredible. So I'm just saying, it's fine if you're saying startup. It's perfectly okay. You have 6 or 7 people, like just in South Africa, we've got 54 million people. So if 6 or 7 have put their heads together and their hearts together to try and fix things, that's already a great start. But I think the reason why we've invited you today, or so Vision tells me, is that we need to chat about the African Spelling Bee, the second annual African Spelling Bee.
Yeah.
How did this thing happen and I didn't know about it? I was not invited, clearly. I did not get my invitation.
Yeah, so it is the second one. So spelling bees, as you know, is spelling competitions, right? Made famous by the movie Aquila and the Bee. And we, an organization called Spell It South Africa, is one of our partners, has been running that for about 8-9 years. And then a few years ago, worked with the Department of Basic Education to start the National Spelling Bee, which has been running since 2014. And then last year, I decided to just find out who in Africa was doing the same thing and then pull them all together. Found 8 other people across 8 other countries who were doing it. And we had the first African Spelling Bee actually at Riverstone Lodge last year.
Oh, wow.
And then this year, another 7 countries have joined. And so we're now 16 altogether. And 13 are actually coming for the second annual African Spelling Bee.
That's just insane. So I have to ask the question. So spelling bees, traditionally, you'd only see them in movies. If you live in this country, you would have seen them like Aquila and the Bee. You might have spotted. I didn't know that this was a real thing happening. Is it? And I have to ask: is it a private school thing? Is it a public school thing? Where are these things happening?
So traditionally, they've been run through the library services and through private schools. We actually only focus on public schools. So our goal was to get every child in South Africa spelling and reading. And so now in South Africa, it's a national program. So you've got millions of kids spelling and reading in the national competition. So it's still growing. But, our goal is to have every kid in Africa reading and spelling. And I think we're on the road to that, yeah.
Well, I often talk about it that languages are so important in terms of the broader careers and education space that people would pursue, because if you can't read and if you can't write, if you can't spell the words, I'm just saying it narrows down your options. I know that there's a huge focus on STEM, STEM subjects. What is your experience been in terms of this competition or initiatives like that assisting in the broader educational pursuits of young people?
So yeah, I mean, STEM is a big issue, but before STEM is literacy, right? So basic literacy. So I mean, right now as a country and as a continent, we're not doing really great at basic literacy. We're doing great at getting kids into school. We almost have 100% in South Africa, 100% attendance. But when we do our assessments around grade 4 particularly, 50% of our kids are not reading and spelling at age level. So
what's the reason for that?
So
is it the quality of our teaching system? Is it access to materials? What is the cause of that?
There's multiple reasons. One is legacy issues. You know, I know people don't like talking about, well, what the past did to the present, but the past always affects the present. So a lot of our kids, so for example, I'll give you a very simple stat. If you have 15 books in your house, your kids will be literate. Just having them because at some point they're going to page through it, they're going to read. Most kids living in informal settlements, townships, rural areas don't have one book in their homes. So a very simple thing like that, where just access.
Yeah.
Many of our schools don't have functioning libraries. And then we have a multilingual aspect that we haven't really got our heads around yet. So there's a number of issues. The quality of our teaching, yes, is an issue. But what we found is that with a little bit of tweaking, you can actually get a teacher who maybe is an average teacher to be a good language teacher with some really focused interventions. And so that's part of what we're trying to do is to say, well, let's not try and, you know, we don't have to change our whole curriculum. We have to fix very specific stuff. So in literacy, you have to fix grade 4. That's one of the key issues. STEM, numeracy, it's actually the same thing. So what's exciting about the last couple of years is just seeing that if you fix small things and you got people excited about competing, having fun with words, etc., the jumps in literacy are phenomenal. It's actually very, very exciting.
Roger, we're going to have to take a short break from this discussion because I've still got lots that we need to chat about.
Okay.
We're going to be chatting to Pastor Jabu Hlongwane in just a few minutes about Joyous 22. And we'll take a short ad break before then.
Stay tuned to Green Ovation, the show that gets you talking, keeps you informed on climate change, innovation, and green entrepreneurs who are changing the country, the continent, and the world. Sustainability, innovation, entrepreneurship, just a few of our favorite things. Find out more about us on greenOvationSA.co.za. Follow me, Connect on Twitter at @DD_Naidu now.
Listeners, well, we'll be chatting to Jabu Hlongwane, as I mentioned earlier, Pastor Jabu Hlongwane, about Joyous 22. Can you believe we're already sitting at number 22? 21, for those of you who don't know, the album is entitled Heal Our Land. It was recorded and filmed at none other than Bishop T.D. Jakes' church in Dallas, Texas last year. So we're going to be chatting to Jabu about this very next installation, which is really exciting. I believe it's an open air event. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, and you? So great to have you on our show this morning.
Thank you so much. It's great to be in the show.
So I can't believe that we are sitting at Joyous 22. How did that happen in the blink of an eye? It must feel like for you.
I have no idea myself because it seems like just yesterday when we started. It's amazing that we are on 22 now.
Good heavens. And you know, this is the thing that people don't talk about. Going into the music industry in South Africa, people forget it takes an entrepreneur to enter this industry. So as a musician, if you're on your own and whether you are a choir or an individual vocalist, it is a business. What has that journey been like for Joyous? What has it been like for you?
It's been a crazy one because we did not set out to do what we are doing, especially at this level. because we are musicians. We just wanted to create music, but the demand made us to profession and actually create the whole concept in a particular way, and then form it as a business, because we immediately, after the second or the third installment, were forced to partner with business, and business can't partner with you if you are not structured. So we were forced very early to make it a business, so that the music is driven by the business. So it's business, as you say. It's important for artists to understand that their skills or their talents cannot survive if they're not backed by business. For us, Joyous is a business, and then what people see is part of the business that runs even after what they see has subsided. So we are driven by that aspect of the business.
Well, then I have to ask the next question, because there's yourself, there's Mtunzi Number, there's Lindelani Mkhize. So partnership plays a big role, right? And I think I'd like to hear from you your thoughts on the importance of choosing the right partners right at the beginning.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Even though we didn't set out like that, but we learned along the way as we were doing this that already the relationship we have, because we started as friends, the relationship we have was driven by our different skills, our different personalities, and also our different experiences. So when you set it out, even if you're an artist, you got skills or talent, it's important for you to look for people who have skills in other areas that you would need. For instance, in business, get a person that has a business acumen, a business mind to be part of that, a marketing mind to be part of this, and then get somebody that will help you with accounting, which is a very important part of the business, and including management of your career. Because another thing is that as an artist, you can't manage yourself. Your job is to create the music and perform the music. So it's crucial. Luckily for us, we have been exposed to the business of music in various levels. Now, I was already an artist. I was already in the management of the arts. And Lindelani was manager at one of the big companies here in South Africa, Sony Music. And Mtunzi had come from a background of Sony Music also. But also he was an artist himself. So it's important for an artist to choose the right people to work with who have skills. If they have experience, that experience to support your talent.
I think it's really important what you're saying, because often people think they have to find the same people to partner with them in their business, but that doesn't really help. You definitely need a diversity of skills, a diversity of perspectives as well for your business. So
absolutely,
I understand that Joyous has an exciting event coming up, I think in little over a week's time. Tell me about it.
Yes, we are on the 9th of December. We are recording the Jurassic 22 installment. We're recording live here in Johannesburg, in a place called Marupu, the Kruger of Mankind, which is the west of Johannesburg. So we are actually preparing for that. We can't wait, because the excitement is amazing amongst the fans. So we still have a few tickets to sell for that event. Everything is ready, and we are ready to start going. Right now, the speaker comes from a meeting to finalize some of the details in terms of the recording. It's talking about the 9th of December here in Johannesburg West.
So I believe this new album is called All For You. What is that all about?
When we sat down trying to put the music together, we were looking back at how the people that supported us have been embracing what we are doing. Last year, we just recorded in the Potter's House in Texas, Dallas.
Yes.
We were overwhelmed by the support, people coming in from all over the world. We saw flags in the audience, flags that come from Tanzania, Ghana, the whole of Africa, and Ireland, and whatever other place. As I stood on the stage and we look at the crowd, we're like, my goodness, we could not have been here without the fans of Joyous.
Yeah.
So this album is entitled All For You. What drives us is the support. What drives us is the fans. That is why we say we are doing this all for you.
Well, I'm really excited about it, and I've already spoken to your people to make sure that we can come in with our photographers and chat to a few of the fans. Listeners, the gates open at 11 o'clock at Maropeng, the official visitor
Yes.
center for the Cradle of Humankind. Tickets
Yes.
are available at CompuTickets. I believe you are inviting your fans to come a bit early, to come with their camping chairs,
Absolutely.
and you're going to be having food stalls. It's going to be a massive celebration. Yeah?
Amazing. We can't wait. It's going to be amazing because we are creating a lifestyle setup. It's not about music only.
Yeah.
You know, like you said that come early, there'll be jumping castle for your kids. There's going to be a market. We're going to have people that are performing in the area before the show, acrobatics and stuff. So you just come in and shop at the malls, and then you're able to get merchandise, just T-shirts, just caps, just whatever, before the show starts. Because
Yes.
when you come to our shows, it's important that you have the whole experience. So we can't wait to have that. So MTN Jazz Celebration 22 is recorded on the 9th of December at Maropeng in Johannesburg. West, we can't wait. And thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. We're so excited. I look forward to next week. Thanks again for joining
Love
us.
it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye.
We're taking a short break and we'll be back with Roger Dickinson, who is working for an organization, heads up an organization called A Better Africa. Sounds like my kind of vibe.
The Dramatic Talk with myself, Bongani Drama. Bringing you insightful conversations on the Convo Corner, your latest celebrity news on Dramatainment, and your latest fashion news on Fashion Fade.
This is Bongani.
And myself, Rose Ratafa, bringing you your latest news and sports updates.
Every Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. Only on www.brandlive.co.za.
And you're back. We are still chatting to Roger Dickinson, the CEO for an organization called A Better Africa. Before we took a short break there, we were chatting about the education system and the failings and the challenges that there are. I think a lot of people don't understand that pre-94, we had 16 different education systems. So fixing that in a short space of time with limited resource is definitely a challenge. So this idea of literacy being the same as numeracy excites me. I'm excited about the fact that we have 16 African countries coming together to encourage the use of African language. But Roger, I'd like to introduce you to probably our youngest guest we've ever had.
Okay.
Her name is Stacey Frew, and at the age of 10, she's already a multi-award-winning author.
Wow.
Her first book was published at the age of 7. Good morning, Stacey.
Hello.
Hi, is that Stacey?
No, Stacey will be ready in 5 minutes.
Okay, well, we'll carry on. We'll come back to you in 5 minutes. Can you stay on the line?
Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, no problem. We will.
Awesome. So, Roger, can we chat a bit more about the education system and how this literacy thing actually helps young kids?
Yeah, so I think just to step back to something you said. So 16 education systems became one. But we have the teachers trained in 16 education systems still working, most of them. So we still, particularly in our foundation phase and intermediate phase, primary school levels, we still have a very large number of teachers that were trained under the DET and the DEC and all of those kind of things. So, and that's a very difficult thing to fix because people are in careers, they've been working for 40 years, etc. So to say it nicely, bad habits that were taught under a system that was deliberately trying to undereducate people are being perpetuated as we speak today. So one of the things is, we then changed curriculum 4 times, which was a good thing in some ways, and it wasn't the right thing in other ways because in my view and what we've tried to do is, can you figure out what's the small change you can make that can have big impact? And language is one of those things, right? So because language is a skill. right? It's not about whether you're intelligent or whether you come from Yeovil or Sandton, Melville or Sandton. It actually, it's about the skill. And do you have someone who's able to walk with you down that skill, right? So if you think about how you acquired the skill through the adults in your life and through teachers and through your own determination and through books and newspapers and all of that. And so for me, what's exciting about where we can actually leapfrog some of our problems is if we can focus on a few key issues, like reading speed, for example, like word recognition, like access to books that interest you and excite you, and then putting kids in a place where they are actually excited to do this. They don't feel like someone's going to clap them because they're not reading. That's where I'm seeing, not only in our program, but I'm seeing a number of programs across the continent where kids are starting to jump stages that people think might take 10 years, takes a few months. You know?
Well, again, just coming back to the fact that we now are inviting 16 countries are part of this network, 13 are coming. I think it's incredible that we are hosting this event on the 16th of December at Madupeng, the official visitor center for the Cradle of Humankind World Heritage Site. This is the birthplace of humanity and clearly the birthplace of human communication. Are you excited that we've got all these different language groups coming into the country?
It is unbelievable. It is awesome. So just a story that I think with everything we've done last year on our first one, the first round of the Spelling Bee is a multilingual section. So all the 13 countries are sending in their words of their most frequently, so greetings and stuff like that. So all the kids have to learn those words.
It's like what kind of languages? Have you got Swahili in there?
Swahili,
French,
Yoruba, Igbo, obviously Shona, Ndebele, all the South African Afrikaans, English. Then you've got Arabic, you've got Amharic, you've got Ashanti. So you've got languages that you've read about, and suddenly you can greet in Amharic or you can greet in Swahili. And what was amazing was what we do is the kids teach each other how to pronounce the words. And then in the competition, you, from whatever country you are, you'd get a word from another country.
Wow.
So it's just, if that's all we do, and that's all we achieve, that's
exchange.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just brilliant.
So how do people get to attend this thing? Who do you invite and who generally attends? Is it schools that come, and how do they support it?
So parents come. I mean, we're putting out an invitation this week. There are limited space, so people need to just RSVP. But actually, we'd love as many people to come as possible, especially people who are interested in really working with us to make this really big, so...
Awesome. So we're taking a short ad break. We'll be coming back and chatting to Roger a bit more. And obviously, we still need to make some time for the young author, Stacey Frew.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. brandlive.co.za.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
Get all of today's aviation news on one site. Visit pilotspost.com. Updated twice a week, Pilots Post is a convenient way for aviation professionals and enthusiasts to remain updated with the latest aviation technologies, products, events, and news. Aviation safety, technical information, events reports, aircraft reviews, and aviation personalities are some of our most popular articles. Now in its 5th year with more than 100,000 hits per month and almost 15,000 dedicated readers. Pilots Post is available free on the web. No registration is required. To read Pilots Post, simply go to www.pilotspost.com.
Hi, Stacey.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, you?
Good. You are the youngest person we've ever had on our show. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Stacey, tell me, what made you decide to write a book when you were only
7? What made me decide to write a book is that I I had such a passion for reading and writing, and I thought that the way to express my passion was writing a book.
And then it's called The Smelly Cat.
Yes, Smelly Cat.
I love the title and I love your passion. I mean, now that you've done this book and you've won awards, do you still have ambition? What more is there for you to achieve?
I think my goal is to get every African or South African child to read and write.
I think that's really, really exciting. Roger, do you want to come here? I've got Roger here with me, and he's the CEO of a company called A Better Africa, and they are hosting the second annual African Spelling Bee, bringing different people from 16 different countries to South Africa. Roger, would you like to say something to Stacey?
Hi, Stacey. How are you?
Fine, you?
Good, thanks. So I actually just want to see, what are you doing on the 16th of December? We'd like to invite you to our event.
16th of December. We're supposed to be coming back from Cape Town that day, but we're still not sure of our trip. So other than that, nothing.
Okay.
We've got to check your diary. We'll check your diary. But Stacey, I believe you're also an ambassador for an organization called Save the Children. Is that right?
Yes.
So what does that mean you get to do? What do you do as an ambassador for Save the Children?
Well, I model for them as I go around to children, inspiring children, giving them courage, and giving them the experience of having someone that's written 2 books at their own age. And also, I get invited to speak for Save the Children, and yes.
That's really exciting. Stacey, it was so great chatting to you. We will be in touch with your parents to make sure that we can find a spot for you at our event. We wish you all the best. Have an exciting holiday, and thanks for joining us on the show.
Okay, thank you. Can I give you my social media platform?
Oh, you've got one of those. Thank you. Yes, do. What is it?
Okay. Instagram, Stacey Frew. Twitter, @StaceyFrew. Facebook, Stacey Frew. And YouTube, Stacey Frew. And I also run an online TV station called CTVSA, where you can Google it on YouTube.
Oh, that's exciting. Say it again. Give it to our listeners again. Twitter, @Stacey Frew. Instagram, Stacey Frew.
Yes, and you spell Stacey Frew, STACEYFRU.
Awesome. We definitely going to be connecting with you again. Thanks so much, Stacey. It was great chatting to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacey. I think you've got competition.
Okay, so, bye, Roger.
Bye-bye, Stacey.
Look forward to meeting you once again.
Yes, we do, actually. That's excellent.
It was great. So, Roger, what do you have to say
Oh,
to
that's
that?
amazing.
I'm done. I'm finished.
That's awesome.
I'm finished. Where do we go to from here?
Oh, man, that's amazing. I'm just imagining Stacey at our event inspiring all the African kids, because once you see someone your own age doing something, it just it does something to you, because that's awesome.
I think it's amazing. I mean, the fact that she's saying she wants to encourage people across the African continent, young kids, to read, to learn. I'm just saying it's incredible that this is her ambition. She's only 10 years old.
No.
I'm feeling a bit embarrassed. Okay, what have I done with my life? Okay, so what have you done with your life?
Well, I was listening to someone talking about this Generation Z and how they are. I think Stacey is that generation that they actually going to change the world.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it.
Yeah.
And they're the ones actually doing it. So I think that's exciting. I'd like to get old in a world like that, actually.
Well, I tell you now, my head is buzzing. I'm already thinking about these kids who are coming. So we've got 2 young learners coming from these 13, I know I said 16 earlier, but it's 13 countries coming, 2 young learners with their chaperones. I can already see that perhaps we do a book.
Right?
That comes out of this space where you've got these young young learners, avid readers, clearly, if they are able to spell and enter these competitions. I think that could be really exciting.
That'd be brilliant.
And also to learn these like basic greetings in the different languages. If we do a recording, it could be an online book where you could listen to it. I think that could be really exciting. I'm probably getting way ahead of myself here. Koketso's giving me the evil eye.
Well, I'm just thinking because on the Friday of the event, the kids all go on a Maropeng and Sterfontein guided tour. So maybe the book could just be about the experience on that day, and we could record it. I think that could be a good start.
We ought to be onto something there now, Roger. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're onto something. But look, I want you to come back to the fact that you've got this partnership with Monash University. So what does that mean in terms of this competition?
So Monash South Africa is a private university in the West Rand, linked to Australia and also linked to the Laureate Group, which is a big international education group. And they've been sponsoring a scholarship for every winner. And so the winner of the African Spelling Bee gets their undergraduate degree covered by one of the top 100 universities in the world.
Wow!
So
that's insane.
Yeah, so for me, to get another African child educated to the level of, world class is just brilliant. It's just a brilliant thing. And we're really grateful to them for the partnership. And also just for the commitment. They've done this with us for a number of years, and it's just growing. So
it's great to see, like I always talk about, the fact that we need more effective public-private partnerships. I mean, government can't do it on its own. Private sector can't do it on its own. We've got to partner and make these things happen. In fact, I went to a job summit on Monday, not knowing what this thing was going to be all about. So it's really about addressing unemployment in South Africa. And one of the founding members of this initiative, I think it's called the Ubuntu Initiative, said that each one of us can do something in the space that we are in. It doesn't have to be big; it might just be very small. And he said you've got to be prepared to join the coalition of the willing.
Yep.
It was a powerful statement. So I think I'm putting my hand up and saying I'd love to be part of this African Spelling Bee every single year. However we can grow it, however we can expand it, I want to be a part of it. So Roger, just your final words to listeners out there.
No, I mean, for all the listeners out there, I mean, we like Diane says, it's really a coalition of the willing, and it's no one can do this by themselves. And in fact, it's only through partnerships that we're going to fix this country. And, the stone throwing and the blaming and all of that, I think that's so last year or year before. And
that's so 90s.
90s, exactly. So we're really looking forward to more collaborations and more coalition forming to really get every African child educated to their highest possible level, and that's the goal.
That's great. Roger, thank you so much for spending time in the studio with us this morning for the show. It's been great having you with us. I don't think this is our last interview around the South African Spelling Bee and the A Better Africa initiative. Listeners, you heard it. You heard it straight from his mouth. We can all do something. But are you prepared? Are you ready to join the coalition of the willing? Till next time, we've used our voices. South Africa has 54 million. We're using ours. Use yours.
Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za